all those things. I'll come to that, why you have to collect insects. Okay. So then coming to the other thing is that once you know what insects are, what are the modifications, you started looking at the modifications. Suppose if you look at a fly, the halteres, there is a 4 hind wings are modified. If you look at a hamulate, what is hamulate? The hook are present on the hind wings and 4 wings. So what is that? Why is that modifications? If you look at grasshoppers, they have a tympanum. Okay, so many things. So you started understanding so many things with entomology, especially the modifications, legs, antennae, head structures, or thorax, or the wing modifications. All those things started. Then you have got into the anatomy also. Okay, what is digestion, what is its physiology, what is okay, all those things serve as a base for your entire entomology course, or for your agriculture professional degree. For your agriculture, you should know all these things, and whatever you study further, especially the future courses like pest courses, all your pest courses are this first course will be the base for all your courses. Okay, so that understanding this course is very, very important. Okay. Okay, so what you learned all these days was different, and now you are beginning to the second part, which is again very, very important. Many of you say entomology. Anybody? Yeah, okay. If it was a offline class, it would have been better. But anyway, still we cannot help. Okay. So classification. So what do you mean by classification? Anybody? Okay. Anyway, I cannot ask you questions since you are all traveling. Many of you are busy. Okay, and you also don't want to. Okay, we are getting into the classification of the organisms. Okay, and it is also called as insect systematics or taxonomy. So we are grouping the organisms, or that is why what we are doing is we are classifying. So it is nothing but insect systematics or taxonomy. Okay, so if you look at all of your names, you all have your names, right? Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
So what would have happened if you did not have a name? I could not call Gavi Siddesh, I could not call Ankita Varma, or I could not even call Basilingappa. Okay, I would have it would have been havoc, or it would have been a more chaotic world, right? You did not know whom to meet or whom to call. Okay. Person will be telling whom am I addressing? Okay. As a parents, so it all begins at your home, right? So you start calling your mother, you start calling your father, who is your grandmother, who your relatives. So that is what you are doing. You are all grouping them, right? So you are grouping them into your father's relative, you are grouping them into your mother's relative. Okay, so mama, mommy, so many things. So that is where the taxonomy begins. It's not with entomology, it is all taxonomy that begins at our home. Okay, so that is what it is, taxonomy or systematics. So there are two definitions. What is taxonomy, or what is the system? I'll come to that definition. Okay, so coming to today's class, so few things. Suppose, okay, so we know the answers to the crucial understanding of the universe. So there are some answers which we know. Okay, why taxonomy becomes important, I'll come to that. For example, what is the diameter of the earth? Anybody? Okay, let me put it like that. So we know the diameter of the earth. It is something 10,000,
12,800 kilometers.
Yes, something like that. Yes, very good. So you can also put it on the chat box. Okay, so 12,800. Very good. So very, very good. So we have an answer for that, right? Okay. Suppose, what is the mass of an electron? So we know we still have answer for that. It is something 9.1 into 10 raised to 28. Okay, so that is the mass of an electron. How many stars in the Milky Way? Anybody? Banu Kumar has also given 12,800. Anyway, so Milky Way, it is 10 raised to 11. So we have some millions of. So we can still, we have estimated all those things. We know so much of answer. Anybody can tell me how many organisms are there, or how many species of organisms are there on Earth? Any try? I'll give you, it is
7 million.
7 million. Okay. Any other answer? Any other answers? Anybody? Some guess.
Sir, 18 million.
18 million. Okay. 7 million, 18 million. Some more answers.
50 million.
50 million. Okay. Good. Okay. So the answer is we don't know. Okay. The problem is we do not know the answer for this, because somebody said 3, somebody said 7, somebody said 18, somebody said 70. We are not sure of what it is. Okay. So that is what taxonomy or the classification is very, very important. So, okay, if you want to know them, you want to group them, or you want to give them a name. So all those in grouping and naming. Okay. So 2 things, you have to group them, then you have to name them. There are 2 things which are going in hand. That is taxonomy. Okay. So I'll come to that. Okay. So biodiversity is very, very important. Okay, so okay, Banu Kumar has also again given 9 million. I don't think so, Banu. It is somewhere between 30 to some millions, they say. It is again a guess. Okay, we do not have any proper number. Okay, so this is what is our diversity. How many kinds of organisms are there on Earth? We do not know. Okay, so it is just an umbrella term for the degree of nature's diversity. Is nothing but it is an umbrella term. So what is that? Degree of nature's variety, including both number and frequency, ecosystem, species, gene. Okay, all those things, they are just under the term of the biodiversity. We put all of them under the diversity. Okay, not just the number of taxa, but also the measure of degree of differences, in the sense the sense of dissimilarity. We do not know how do they differ also. Okay, anyway, what is important is we have a diversity and we do not know how diverse they are. Okay, so for all those things, the taxonomy or the classification becomes important. Okay, what I want to tell is that why taxonomy is important and why do you want to know the classification of insects. Okay, if you look at the 5 major extinctions, okay, the most recent was in the 65th million years ago. It was somewhere around 65 million years ago. That is where if you look at 5 major extinctions, the fifth was the recent one, 65 million years ago. And anybody can guess when is the next going to be? There are 5 already. Okay, dinosaurs have gone, many of the other things have gone. Okay, and if you remember, we always say that cockroach have survived the extinction, 5 mass extinctions. Okay, and still they are there. Okay, yeah, okay, I think I can't expect more answers from you. The problem is that the 6th extinction is going to be by man. Remember, we are going to be responsible for that extinction, because at the rate at which we are killing other organisms, or at the rate at which we are taking away all the natural resources, or all the biodiversity, it is very, very it is life, it is threatening. Okay, we just have to assume that we are all going to completely destroy the earth. Okay, that is what I feel. Okay, and okay, 25 to 50% of the living organisms will be extinct in the next 25 to 30 years. Imagine at the rate at which we are doing all this nonsense on this earth. So we are going to kill all the 25 to 30% of the species on this earth. Okay, so imagine, so what we are doing. Okay, anyway, these are all the estimates. Okay, looking at what speed we are killing other at what speed we are doing all this problems on this earth. Okay, based on that, people have access this. Okay, like your TV9, they come out with news. Tomorrow there's going to be a Jalapralaya, this, that, so many things the news gives. So it is all just the assumptions. Okay. Then what is important for us is the classification or the classification. Classification is nothing but grouping of organisms, things, objects, animals, and plants. Okay, so this is what we do. So we always do that. Suppose we have a we have a class tomorrow. We'll put all our notes which are there for tomorrow. So we are grouping them. Okay. Suppose if you are going on a trek, you will pack all of the material which is required. Like you have your mobile, you have your chargers, you have your power bank, you will have an umbrella, you will have the backpack, you will have a sleeping bag. So all those things you group them and put it at one place. So that is what is nothing but grouping. Classification is nothing but grouping of the organisms, things, objects, or plants, or animals. Okay, it is very, very simple. Then coming to taxonomy, there are three terms: classification, taxonomy, and systematics. Classification, very simple, put all the things in one place and group them, whatever it is. Okay. Taxonomy, what is taxonomy is it is a Greek word, means taxis. Taxis means arrangement. Again, it is arrangement. Nomos means law. Arrangement of an organism or arranging group of organisms according to a law. Okay, it is more theoretical. Okay, taxonomy is more theoretical, and again it is defined as the theoretical study of classification, including its basis, procedures, principles, and rules. So as I said, so taxis means arrangement, law, nomos means law. Okay, nomi. Okay, nothing but arrangement. It is the theoretical study of the classification, including its basis. On what basis are we grouping them, or on what basis we are classifying them, and what are the procedures that we are following, and there are principles and rules. Okay, I'll come to that. Why do you want to have a principles and rules? It is for naming. Okay, it includes, so what does taxonomy includes? It includes nomenclature and classification. Okay, so nomenclature is but nothing but giving names. Okay, so that is where you have to follow the rules. Okay, principles and rules. For example, if I'll take up some name, okay, others. Suppose if we want to name a species of insects on the name of others, it will be Helicorpa Adarshai. Adarshai means that is how we name. Okay, suppose if somebody, for example, Gavi Sidesh is from Belgaum or Belgaum. Okay, we'll take it. We presume that. Okay, so if we are going to name it, we'll name it as Helicorpa belgamensis because it is after a name and after the place of the name. It is all noun. Okay, ensis, we add endings for them. If it is, suppose there is Ankita, right? So Ankita is a if we want to name Ankita, so it will be Helicorpa Ankite or Ankitas. Okay, we use rules for that. Okay, so that is what it is. Okay, I'll tell you how those rules apply in the later thing. Okay, then coming to systematics. Okay, again, taxonomy was proposed by De Candolle in 1813 who is from French. Okay, so coming to systematics, so we have classification, we have taxonomy, then coming to systematics, study of kinds and diverse of organisms and their relationship among them and looking for the ancestral lineage. Okay, so systematics is nothing but we are going to look at it in a different way. So how do we look at it? Again, it is again classifying or it is grouping, but what is that we are doing is that in systematics we are going to find a relationship. Okay, suppose we are going to, okay, you all have your family tree, right? Yes or no? You have a family tree. How many of you know that? Okay, there's a family tree. If you want to take the properties, or if you want to make the properties in your name or something like that, you go to a Tahsildar office, they ask you for a family tree. Who is your father? They'll ask. Then your father, who is father's father? Father's father. So where did you belong? So from where did you come? So all those things, they ask a lot of questions. So and they make a family tree. Okay, so it is nothing but they are trying to find a relationship. They are going to find a relationship among the group of people. Okay, so that is nothing but we are going to find a relationship among the group of insects in entomology. Okay, it is same, it applies to all the group. You take a plant, you take an animal, so we are going to find a relationship among ourselves. Okay, who is the closest relatives for human beings? Somebody?
Apes.
Okay, apes. Very good. So our closest relatives are apes. So I mean, okay, I'll get into that. Good. So anyway, we should know that we who are the closest relatives. Okay, chimpanzees. Okay, Banu Kumar has said that chimpanzees are one of the closest relatives. Yeah, we look into that. That means we are looking at the relationship. How and what kind of relationship in the evolutionary way? It includes taxonomy and also the evolutionary way. So over the period of time, what is happening? So we have gone from chimpanzee to human being. So we have a lot of transformations. Okay, so that is nothing but the relationship that we are looking from the ancestral line. Okay, so both taxonomy and systematics are the same, two faces of the same coin. Okay, so what is taxonomy? It is nothing but theoretical study of classification. We have some rules, procedures, and we look at nomenclature. Systematics, it is the study of kinds of diverse organisms. What are all the diversities there, and the diversity along with the relationship. We also look at the diversity and also relationship among their ancestors. So that is what is meant by systematics. Clear? Is it clear?
Yes, sir.
Okay, if somebody, when I ask if something is not clear, please let me know. I can repeat it again, no problem. Okay, so if it is clear, we'll begin with something else. So as I said, what is systematics? Systematics is nothing but it is the study of kinds and diversity of organisms and of all the relationship among them. Okay, that is what is the definition of systematics. Then coming to taxonomy, it is the theoretical study of classification. It includes one on what basis? Principles, procedures, and rules. Okay, so what is that basis? Whether they have 3 legs, whether they have 2 pair of wings, or whether they have 1 pair of wings. So that becomes the basis. Okay, and the two are like two sides of a same coin. Systematics is what systematics think, and taxonomy is what it does in its day-to-day activity. Okay, if I am a taxonomist, so I'll be doing something. So what I do is I go to field, collect insects, look at them, group them into Lepidoptera, Coleoptera, Diptera. So these are the insect orders, and then I name them or put them into one group. Okay, what does a systematist do? Systematist is what he thinks. Okay, this could be a Lepidoptera, this could be a Coleoptera, based on some of the other characters or based on the relationship. Okay, so it is very, very simple. Okay, then okay, let me also tell you what is the function of a systematist. Okay, his idea is his work is to organize the knowledge about the living organism. So I work on group of insects. So what I do is that I try to put all the information of that organism in a place. Okay, and it provides the means of communication. So what I do is that I'll be trying to give it a name. Okay, by that can anybody tell me? Okay, honeybees you said, right? So you have been exposed to honeybees, you have been exposed to cockroaches, right? For your collections, okay, or for your what is that? Dissections. Okay, so you have been dissecting cockroaches, you have been looking at honeybees, pollen carrying leg, antenna cleaner, all those things. So we have a name for all those things. Okay, American cockroach. Okay, so what is American cockroach? So we have a name. So whatever we have is a American cockroach as a pest. Okay, so we all have a name for that. So we have a name. So any systematics or a person working on taxonomy, his idea is to his work is to give a name for that. Okay, and all these informations will be stored in one place and which will be useful for others. Okay, so what are the functions of systematics? Okay, systematics itself is a branch. Okay, Okay, you have all been sitting in one of the that big room, right? I've all had any chance to look at the new building which is there, new classroom there. Anybody has been to the new classroom there?
Where, sir? Backside, sir.
Backside. Okay. On the way backside, there's one right side. There's a one more niche area building, or there's a small board with a grasshopper written that niche area for excellence on taxonomy of insects and mites. Okay, so that is a
Right side, sir.
yeah, right
New
side.
building.
Yeah. So that is a new building where we have, that is nothing but an insect museum. Okay, I'll come to that later. But what we do is that we collect lot of organisms, pin them, mount them, put a label, and store them. Has the collection of insects been told to you, right, in the 1 or 2 classes? Theory, practical, in the practical classes? How do you collect insects? How do you mount them? How do you preserve them? All those things.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So that is nothing but it is also a part of a person who is practicing taxonomy or a systematics. Okay. He is called a systematist or a taxonomist. Okay. So what they do is that they put all the organisms in a collection and they study them. Okay. Okay. So why do we need systematics? Anybody? Why do you want to name them? Or why do you want to know so many organisms on this earth? And why do we know whether it is an helicorpa, whether it's a cockroach, or it is an honeybee? What is the need for that? Anybody can answer this if you have any thoughts.
Sir, for easy understanding.
Very good, very good. Yeah, it's a very important point for easy understanding. Very good. Some more points, some more answers. Anybody?
To know interrelationships.
Very good. Yes, that is very good. So we are looking at the relationship between ancestor and an evolutionary aspect. Very good. Two. Some more points. Come on.
Their ecological value.
Yeah, ecological value. Yes,
The
very
evolutionary
important.
relationship between the other species of same classes.
Yeah, very good. So
Benefits and
many
harmfulness.
yes, very good. So we all look at so many other things. Okay, so benefits are to human and nature. Okay, Bharat Kumar, Banu Kumar, and many of you have answered. So in fact, all of you, what you mentioned, those 4 or 5 points are very important. Okay, to know all those things, we should know why insect, what is that insect, or why insect systematics. Okay, let us look at one by one. So changing pest scenario. So what is happening? Okay, so there is a lot of changes in the pest scenarios. Okay, many of the insects which were earlier not pest are becoming pests, so we should know their name. Okay, so we have to study them, we have to classify them, we should know what it is, whether it is a Lepidoptera, Coleoptera, or a Diptera, or an Hemiptera. Okay, these are all the insect orders which I'm using regularly or frequently, so that you get used to this. Okay, so elytra. So elytra is nothing but the beetles. All the beetles have a hard elytra, so that they all belong to Coleoptera order, right? So anyway, so the change in pest scenario. So earlier they were no pests, so they are becoming pests. We are importing a lot of crops, new varieties. So for all those things, so there is a change in pest scenario. Emergence of new pests. So many of the pests are coming from many of the other countries. For example, of late, there's one important pest which has come to India. That is nothing but the fall armyworm, which has come from South America or African country, and it has reached India. From past 3 years, we are having lot of problem. We are spending lot of money on controlling that pest. It's not just spending money on controlling the pest. It is other harmful effects. We use so many chemicals. All those chemicals are going to be a challenge. They reach water, they reach soil, they become harmful to other useful insects. So all those things are there. So we should, it's not only the spending money, it is also to look at the environmental changes which all these insects are going to come cause. Okay, then invasive pests. So they become invasive, they come from other countries. Pest management. So if you are managing a pest, you should know which pest it is. You cannot without knowing a pest, you cannot do any control measures. Without knowing what insect it is, you cannot do any control measures. Okay. Why I'm telling you is that, so for example, beetles, they have a mandibulate type of mouthparts, right? What about bugs? What is the type mouthparts in case of bugs? What is the type of mouthparts in case of bugs?
Breathing and sucking.
Type. So very, very clear. If it is a beetle, it is mandibulate. They want to chew the food. If it is a bug, it has to suck the blood, right? Or it has to suck the sap. So you cannot use same chemical for two different insects. Okay. So we cannot use same chemical for two different insects. For example, it is a mandibulate, it is the sucking type. So what you need to do is you need to know what kind of chemical you have to apply, because if you want to kill a beetle, you have to use a contact insecticide. You have to spray it on the leaf so that it is on the surface of the leaf and they eat and they get killed. Okay. If it is a bug, so you cannot spray a contact insecticide and kill that. So it will sit and it will fly away. Okay. So what has to be done? It has to be a systemic insecticide. When you spray a chemical, it has to reach the plant system and it has to be circulated in the entire plant system. It has to be all over the plant. It is systemic. Okay. When you take inside your blood, it becomes systemic. When it is on the surface, it is contact, right? So same things become very, very important to know what that insect is, whether it is a Coleoptera, whether it is a Hemiptera. So based on this, systematics is the one which is going to be very, very important for understanding what it is. Then ecosystem services, somebody mentioned it is very, very important. Ecosystem services. Okay. Many of the organisms, especially pollinators, the apis bees or non-apis bees, they are called as solitary bees. Very, very important in ecosystem services. It's not only bees, many of the insects are scavengers, many of them are parasites, many of them are predators. So they help in maintaining the balance in the ecosystem. Aquatic insects, so they become very, very important. So suppose if you want to know the biodiversity, you want to understand what is systematics. Then genetics. So if you are working on genetics, so again you need to know what that insect is. Evolutionary biology, so what is happening in the evolution over the period of time. So for that you need to understand what systematics is. So ethology, then sociobiology, then ecology, and toxicology. Toxicology is nothing but it is again a branch of entomology. So you are going to kill the insects using insecticides. That is toxicology. Okay. So for all those things, there is a need for insect systematics. Clear? So it is a very, very important branch of entomology. Taxonomy is a very, very important branch of entomology. And finally, human urge. Anybody can explain what is that human urge we have? Okay, we do taxonomy for our personal benefits. Like we are fond of collecting some butterflies. We are fond of collecting bugs. We are fond of collecting them and storing it for longer period. Okay, so that is also the human urge. Okay, finally, anyway, we are all selfish. We also have that selfish urge rather than human urge. Okay, so taxonomy is one which bridges all these things, and also bridging the taxonomy divided. Okay, so okay, I think that sentence doesn't hold. It is the bridging. Okay, it bridges all these things in one place. So all these subjects or all these branches are all again related to insect taxonomy. So that becomes a center point. Okay, I was telling you that there was a pest which has come all the way to India. So how did we find it out? So for that, we need to know the taxonomy. It has all the way come from, look at the distance it has traveled. Okay, it has finally reached India. So it is the fall armiver. Okay, and now it is in the entire country and all the states. Okay, the pest is in all the states, and we are spending lakhs and thousands of rupees for controlling this pest itself. Okay. Okay, so then, okay, so this is the diversity. We have the largest diverse group, that is the Coleoptera, 38%. Then we have the Lepidoptera, so it is 16%. then we have Diptera, Hymenoptera, and other groups, Hemiptera 11%. So all these things, so these are the big four major orders. Coleoptera is the biggest, then we have Lepidoptera, then we have Hymenoptera, then we have Diptera and Hymenoptera. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 biggest orders. So these are one of the important major orders which are largely diverse. Okay, I said that. So somebody had answered that. So that we are the humans, we have the chimps or the gorillas. So then we have orangutan and gibbon. So all of them, we look at the evolutionary relationship. This is nothing but systematics. Okay, so anyway, then coming to one more term, I'll tell you there are 3 stages in taxonomy. Okay, taxonomy is nothing but naming of species. Okay, clear? Okay, till you are yeah, so till here you are clear. But coming to taxonomy, taxonomy is nothing but naming of species. Okay, there is again 3 stages or 3 levels of taxonomy. So one is alpha taxonomy, beta, and gamma. Like you have corona. So how many variants we have? We have reached delta or gamma?
Delta, sir.
Delta variants. So it is same thing. Okay, so we had corona, then we have we had what all we had, beta, gamma, and now we have reached the delta stage. So we had, that is nothing but the levels are the levels of variation. Same way, there is 3 levels of taxonomy. One is alpha taxonomy, then we have beta taxonomy, and then we have the gamma taxonomy. So what is alpha taxonomy? Alpha taxonomy is nothing but describing a species. Suppose if I'll take somebody's name, like, okay, Likith Nadiga is going somewhere and is collecting an insect. Okay, Likith has collected an insect and he collects that, and he studies, brings to the lab and starts looking at it. Then he finds that it is a species. What species it is? It is a new species. So how did he has a lot of experience, so because of that he says that it is a new species. He looked at his museum collection, compared all of them, and he said that this is a new species. So what he is going to do is that, just not saying new species, he is going to describe it. Describe it means it is having 3 pairs of legs, the wing is having a marking here, it is a red color, black color. That is alpha taxonomy. Okay, clear? Okay, then yeah, so Likith didn't stop there. So again, he wanted to look some more information. So where he is going to look at some more information. Okay, so to which order it belongs. Okay, to which genera it belongs, whether it belongs to family, which family it belongs. So he is looking at further more information, that is the higher classification. So beta taxonomy is concerned with the higher classification above the species level. For example, alpha taxonomy is at the species level, whereas beta taxonomy, you are looking at some information above the species level, which genus, which tribe, which family, which order it belongs. It is higher level taxonomy. Okay, we are looking at higher level taxonomy, that is nothing to which order it is belonging to, whether it is a new order or something like that. Then it becomes beta taxonomy. Okay, then what is gamma taxonomy? So gamma taxonomy is concerned with the evolutionary relationship and the phylogeny. So you are studying the variations in the population. Suppose if there are 10 or 20 species, one of them is little dark, one of them is little red, one of them is green color. So you are looking the same species. So what is happening? You are getting more deeper into that. And why is that? Okay, why is it 2 centimeter? Why is it 2.5 centimeter? You are looking at the variation. Okay, at the species, or it is nothing but the process of speciation. Okay, so you are looking at more details. Okay, that becomes gamma taxonomy. Clear? Somebody has any no? Is it clear? If somebody is not clear, please let me know. I'll repeat it again.
Clear, sir.
Okay. Okay, so we are looking at lot of structures, external structures, internal structures, development history, physiology, all those things, and we group them. So that is what is the taxonomy. So alpha taxonomy, beta taxonomy, and gamma taxonomy, 3 levels. Okay, so this is what is meant by taxonomy. Taxonomy is nothing but giving a name. So we have one more important component, that is the nomenclature. So what is nomenclature? Naming of species. It is very, very simple. It is naming of species. Okay, so for example, I have so many names. I'll read up few names from last Dilip Kumar, then Likit Nadiga, Gautami M, then Gopal Lal, Danush AR, Dheeraj R. So you see that you have so many names there. Okay, naming of organism by giving an unique, distinct, and universally accepted and stable names. Okay, for example, if you take anybody's name, for example, Akul Gowda. Okay, so if you take Akul Gowda's name, his name should be very, very distinct. Okay, it cannot be changed over a period of time, right? Unless we have some rules and regulations, we have to go to court and all those things. But otherwise, it is universally accepted. You take his SSLC mass card, you take his birth certificate, you take his passport, you take his DL, you take his Aadhaar card. So everywhere the Akul Gowda is mentioned. So it is nothing but universally accepted, and it remains the same. It doesn't change in SSLC mass card, or it doesn't change in your Aadhaar card. It doesn't change in the any of the places, right? So that means you are going to maintain a stability in their names. So that is nothing but the nomenclature, naming of organisms by giving them very, very unique names, distinctive, and it should be universally accepted, and it should be remaining stable. It should not change. Clear? Is it clear? If somebody is not clear, please let me know.
Clear, sir.
Okay, only CR is clear. Others?
Clear, sir.
Okay, okay, thank you. So, okay. Then this nomenclature is nothing but again the scientific names. So it is, we have the name, and how do we give their name? So how do we give this name? So it is the names that we give. How do we give these names? It is a it is by the taxon. The scientific name of a taxon, higher rank than species group consists of one word. Okay, uninomial, and it must always begin with a capital letter. For example, if there is two names, Helicorpa, Armigera, okay, any insect you like, you let me know. For example, housefly, Musa domestica, Musca domestica. Okay, so housefly is, because it is the scientific name is Musca domestica, is the species name. Okay, so both of them together we have a scientific name. Both together are called as binomial, because we have a genus name called as Musca, then we have a species name called as the domestica. So both together put are called as Musca domestica. It is binomial nomenclature. Okay, suppose there are some cases we have the trinomial nomenclature. For example, Musca domestica, so that becomes a trinomial nomenclature. If there is a subspecies, okay, then it becomes a trinomial nomenclature. And how do you write the scientific names? The first genus name should always start with capital letter. So Musca, M should be capital. Clear? Okay, so first letter M should be always capital. Other the species name should always be in small letter, and whenever you write it, it should always be italicized. Okay, so please remember, it should be in italic, or we cannot, if it is printed, we can do it as italicized. Suppose if we are writing it on your answer sheet or in your manuals, you see that it will be underlined. Okay, so that is how you write a scientific name. So many of them. So you should be very, very systematic, means you should know the rules, and this is what is the rules and regulations. So you should know how to write a scientific name. Musca domestica. Musca is the genus, species is the domestica, which is again written in small letter. In case of genus, Musca is M capital, and you should underline it if you cannot italicize. And there is also sometimes we have an author. Okay, so it was first described by Linnaeus. So his name will be next to that along with the date 1758. Musca domestica, Linnaeus 1758. So what does it mean? Linnaeus in 1758 he described that species. Okay, so did you get it? Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Okay. So that is what is the understanding of the taxonomy. Okay. I'll skip all those things. Okay. So we have common names and scientific names, right? All of you have a nickname?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Can I know your nickname?
Gavi, sir.
Gavi. Okay. What is the scientific name?
Gavi Siddesh Prabhraj Patil.
Your trinomial nomenclature. Gavi Siddesh, Prabhraj Patil. So you are a trinomial nomenclature. Suppose we will have a common name. So we always call you Gavi. Okay. So we have that is what we most of our parents call us with our call us with the common name or a short name. Okay. Or your nicknames. Okay. So that is what is the names. Suppose somebody calls you with a nickname, you will not be able to they cannot recognize you, okay, with your nickname. So that is where scientific names are very, very important. Okay. For example, if there are two Ankitas in your batch, so how do you identify both of them?
By title, sir.
By the title. Okay, they have a surname. Okay, Ankita Verma, Ankita Sharma. Okay, so Ankita Verma is different, Ankita Sharma is different. Okay, so we use that. Okay, so suppose we call it as Anki, so we cannot identify who is who. Okay, so that's where scientific names become very, very important. Okay, many large organisms have common names, but sometimes one common name for same organisms. Okay, so same organisms will have a common name, so that is little difficult. And sometimes many common names used for two or more distinctly different organisms. For example, bug and a fly. Okay, without a specific name it is impossible to communicate about a species. Okay, I think okay, so that is what we are doing. Okay, so you should not use the common name. Common name is the name for group of organisms, one name for same organism. Okay, okay, I'll clarify it. Sometimes same common name used for two or name. Okay, for example, okay, so we use same common name for two insects, so it is wrong, right? So you cannot do that. Okay, so you should be careful. That is what it is. So that is where the problems if you use a common name. Okay, so that is it clear? Taxonomy, systematics, then we had levels of taxonomy, and then coming to some more things. Okay, so coming to common names and scientific names. Okay, this is what I was dealing. So many may denote the same thing. Okay, we say for two things we use a common name, so it is not the same. For example, if you use Helicor parmigera, then we'll come to know it is for the entire world it is the same. If you use it as gram pod borer, okay, or it is an pod borer, okay, it is a pest on field bean. So you call it as pod borer. Many of the countries they do not know what is this pod borer. Okay, if you tell Helicor parmigera, they will know. The entire world knows Helicor parmigera is what. If you say something, for example, can anybody give some example for that common name which cannot be used for the entire country? Okay, I'll get into that. I have one more slide. Please wait for that. Can you see this slide with the cat?
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
Okay, now can you understand this? Did you all read it or did you all look at it?
Yes, sir.
So you have a same cat there, and if it is in Hindi, it is Billy, it is Russian, it is something else. But what is the actual scientific name? We say Felis catus. Okay, the entire universe can recognize it. Okay, so that is where scientific name becomes very, very important. Common names are quite confusing. Okay, suppose if somebody say, where is my what? Mao means Chinese. So you don't understand, right? So we cannot understand what is Mao, okay, or what is Billy. Okay, if you speak to an American about this is my Billy, so what will he understand? Okay, he might think he is something nonsense they are speaking. Okay, so that is where the common name or the scientific names are very, very important. Okay, clear?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Okay. So that is where it becomes important. Scientific names become important. Okay. Now we are back into the difference between a common name and a scientific name. So common names, again, they are regional. Suppose it is only for a particular state or particular region, or people of different language use that. Okay. They are not stable. They are not universally accepted. Okay. So that is where it becomes a problem. Okay. So on the other hand, if you use a scientific name, it is unique, distinct, stable, and it is accepted by the entire world. So that is how a common name and scientific name are very, very important. Clear? And all these things are being guided by ICZN. ICZN is nothing but International Code for Zoological Nomenclature. Don't worry about that. So you should only remember ICZN. Okay, the fourth edition, which is published in the year 2001 or 2000. Okay, ICZN, International Code for Zoological Nomenclature. Please remember this. ICZN is nothing but the governing body for giving these names. Okay, fill in the blanks, or for 1 marks they might ask you. Okay, that's why I'm telling you. Then okay, so something else we have. Okay, we have this, and I said that somebody has collected a new species and he wants to describe it. So when you describe it with the first specimen, suppose I'll take a name, somebody, it becomes easy so that you remember. Akshata is there. Akshata has collected this is a leaf hopper. Okay, so Akshata has Akshata, where are you from? Akshata Patel or Akshata J? They're not active.
Sir, I am from Madhya Pradesh, sir.
Ah, good. So what's your name?
Akshat Patel, sir.
Akshat Patel. Akshat Patel is from Madhya Pradesh. He was going on the way and he has collected a leaf hopper specimen. Good. So I want some kind of interaction so that at least everybody is active. Okay. He has collected a leaf hopper. Akshat has collected a leaf hopper and he wants to name it. Okay. Akshat, he has not only collected one specimen, he has collected 10 specimen. Okay. Akshat, remember, you have collected 10 specimen of the same species. Okay. And you are describing. Okay, will you take all the 10 or will you take only one to look under a microscope?
Sir, if they are of same species, then I will just collect one to identify and classify it.
Yeah, so what you did is that, it is a new species. Out of 10, you took only one. Okay, that becomes a holotype. Okay, Akshat Patel just took out of 10 specimen, he took only one specimen, and that becomes the holotype. When you're describing it for the first time with the specimen which you took it for describing as a new species, that becomes a holotype. It is very, very precious material and it has to be preserved for long period. Okay, so it is very, very important to safeguard that specimen. Okay, so that becomes a holotype and you mark it in red because you should know it is a holotype or a paratype, right? Okay, you said it is a holotype, so that means it is a new species. Looking at this specimen, you are describing it as a new species, so that becomes a holotype. It is always in the red label. Can you see that? Okay. So Akshat Patel has collected a 10 specimen in Madhya Pradesh, and out of which, and he was describing new species. And out of that, the first specimen which he was holding in his hand becomes a holotype. Okay. The other rest 9. So what will you do, Akshat? Other 9.
Sir, I will keep them with me
Yeah,
only
along with that. Okay. So
for
other 9.
specific reference. For
Yeah.
reference purpose.
Yeah. So other 9 specimens will become paratype. Did you get it? All of you? So I have two definitions. There is a holotype and paratype. Holotype is the first specimen which you are using it for your description or for studying. So that becomes a holotype. Okay. The remaining 9 specimen becomes paratype. Okay. And remember, paratypes can be either male or female. Okay. Clear? Okay. Is it clear? There are two things which I want to tell. What is a holotype? What is a paratype? So you know what is holotype? What is paratype? Okay. Anybody has any confusion, please. I will make it very, very simple and clear again. Please don't mind. I won't mind if you say again, I will repeat it. No problem.
Sir, explain holotype once, sir.
Okay. Can I know your name?
Sir, Ganesh Ji.
Ganesh. So Ganesh, if you are collecting 10 specimen, you are going to a place and you have collected 10 specimens out of and you think it is a new species and you are describing it as a new species. Okay. Out of the 10 specimen, you cannot use all the 10, or you cannot say they are holotypes. The only one specimen you can recognize it as a holotype, and that specimen is the only one specimen which you are holding in your hand. You cannot hold all the 10 and say it is holotype. Okay. You will only look at one specimen, that becomes the holotype. Clear, Ganesh?
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir.
Yeah. Other 9 becomes paratype. They are also types, but they becomes paratype. Clear?
Yes, sir.
Suppose you have collected only one specimen. Remember, Ganesh, you have collected only one specimen and it is a new species. What is that then?
Holotype, sir.
Very good. So that means it is understood. Okay. Very good. So if you have only one specimen, it becomes holotype. That means in the entire earth, it is the first specimen which you have studied, and it is of high importance. And it is like a diamond in your tijori or diamond in your safe cupboard. Okay. Okay. So that is how we say it is a holotype and the paratype. Then, okay. Anybody can recognize this person?
Aristotle.
Very good. Okay. So he was a great philosopher. Okay. He was a very, very, he was a philosopher, and not only that, he also was known as the father of okay. Anyway, he has given some very, very interesting wordings. To all is a friend to none. No great mind has ever existed without of madness. Educate all. Okay. So you know Aristotle is a what 322 BC. Okay, and that is where history of classification started. So from him, the classification of history started. Aristotle was the first to try and name or classify the insects based on the structural similarities. Okay. Aristotle was the first person who did it, and is described like Ganesh and other person whom I mentioned. So Akshat, so he has described one species, whereas Aristotle has described 520 species during those olden days. Okay, so and believed a name should reflect the hidden reality. So he also gave that there should be a name and it should be give the reality of that. Okay, and using a single word or inconsistent word is not right. So there should be two names for that. So that is where the history started from the period of Aristotle. Okay, then I think everybody should know this person, I think there was also a question in your exam, right? Fill in the blanks. What was that question? Linnaeus, Carolus Linnaeus. Did I see your question paper? Okay, anyway, I don't remember them. Okay, so then after Aristotle, then came the one more very, very important person. We call him as Carolus Linnaeus, who gave the binomial nomenclature. So I said that a species will have two names, that is the genus name and species name. So it is being given by Carolus Linnaeus. He is a Swedish botanist. He was a botany person, or a person who was studying botany, and he was the person who is responsible for today's nomenclature. Whatever these names, for example, anybody know the name of a tiger? Scientific name of tiger?
Panthera tigris.
Okay, so if you look at some of the scientific names, all those scientific names are because of the importance that Carolus Linnaeus started somewhere in 1753. Okay, anybody can give the name of the national flower or the national flower lotus? Okay, anyway, we all forget it. You just check what is the national animal, national bird, all those things, and try to remember the scientific names. So what I wanted to specify or tell is that the scientific names are very, very important, and it's all started with Carolus Linnaeus, where it was in somewhere between 1753 he started naming the plants. He described more than 7,300 species of plants. Okay, for animals he had written a big book. Okay, it is nothing but Systema Naturae. They come in 10 volumes. Okay, for animals there is a book which is 10th volume. Okay, it is also called as Systema Naturae in the year 1758. So we still follow the scientific names, or the names which the Linnaeus wrote or started using that. Okay, all the names has been registered in that book. Okay, from that onwards we have to come register what are the names. We have to publish it as a new species. Clear? So Linnaeus contribution is that he always gave importance to the binomial nomenclature. If you do not know the names of the things, knowledge of them is also lost. If we do not know his name, we do not know much knowledge about him. So that is where Linnaeus is contribution is very, very important. Okay, Systema Naturae 1758. Okay, so he is Carolus Linnaeus. Okay, I said that the binomial nomenclature, since I am mentioning Linnaeus, again I am repeating scientific name. So we have a genus name and a species name. So it has two parts, binomial nomenclature. So nomenclature gives uniqueness, stability, and universality. Okay, I'll skip all those things. Okay. Okay, so what is happening is that we have a hierarchical system. Okay, so we are having a hierarchical system like, I don't know my animation. Okay, so if you look at this slide here, so many things are there. Hello. Okay, okay. I'm sorry. I'll stop here because Siddesh has called me, and I think you have one more class. Okay, I'm sorry to bother you on this festival day. I'll try to continue it in the next class. I'm really sorry. Thank you.